Welcome, everyone. It's Angelo Robles of Family Office Association. Today, I'd like to talk about one of my favorite subjects, best practices inside a single-family office. Now, in these videos, we have to keep them, by my standards, very, very brief. There's no comparison compared to, this is really a complex interactive series best done in a masterclass, whether face-to-face or online, and 3 or 4 minutes is not going to do it justice, but we will try to give it a shot. There's a challenge for family offices in best practices. There's relatively a limited number of them. They're private. A lot of them don't share. Therefore, how do you really understand what are best practices in a family office? And what is best practices? Is it defining under various aspects, investing, taxation, what the best of the best do? And that might be helpful, just like benchmarking is broadly helpful. But every single family office is different. They're a snowflake. What are the goals of the family that the family office is most dedicated to? And it can't be an incredibly large number unless they're a very, very large family office. So they need to be great at what they do. And other aspects may be outsourced and managing that outsourced relationship. And yes, there's best practices to that as well. But it's important in understanding best practices that it really is a combination of quantitative and qualitative. Generally, there's probably not enough rigor and enough of an institutional approach to many family offices. They would benefit from having more structure, from having a board of directors, having a chairman, having a leadership committee, a next generation committee, and having the access and resources of committees and advisors to help the senior executives in the family office and the family make sure that the family office is staying dedicated, on track, and running optimally as much as they could, and following some level of standards of best practices. On something like investing, which is very quantifiable. What are our goals? Let's incorporate that into the investment policy statement, the asset allocation. Are we going to be a direct investor? Are we going to outsource to managers and how we manage that? And what is the timeline, the goals, the risk tolerance of the family? That should all be known. So henceforth, investments are one of the easier, broadly speaking, topics to do best practices in the family office. Mitigating tax exposure, generational issues in the family, sometimes service issues to the family, and even aggregation and reporting of assets and resources could all benefit from being more institutional, qualitative and quantitative. But at the end of the day, a lot of it does come down to you need to communicate. The family office executives need to be a great leader. They need to understand the needs of the family, which, by the way, could change day to day, month to month. They need to adapt on the fly relative to what's most important to that family. That's what it's like being dedicated and working for one family 24/7. It's not like you're in a multifamily office or a bank. It's a completely different environment. So even from the family side, what is the skill set of the people in a senior level position that you want? And do you want A players? Well, yeah, I want people that have a great skill set, but they better have great emotional intelligence, be a great listener, be able to communicate, and be able to do what I want to do with a set of ethics and character that they have that's important for me. There are times that the so-called A++ player doesn't fit well into a culture, especially in a smaller office like a family office. They may be better off on their own in a larger company with more resources, and you outsource them as needed. You don't want them to impact negatively the culture of a small office setting like 99% of most single family offices are. So again, this also comes down to clarity of goals. There also needs to be a game plan for the family, and I speak more about this in mitigating risk. What happens if the one person in the family office holds the keys to the kingdom? As something happens, I don't know, they go rogue, they get disabled, they die. Does the family just kind of collapse and fall apart? Or do they have the capability of understanding not just a succession plan, but they're internally capable within the family to address some of the issues that need to be addressed? What do we own? How do we own it? What's our liquidity? Do we understand our aggregation, our reporting? And a big picture item. The family, again, it is a family office. The word family is in there. They need to be engaged in the process. Yes, I did say it needs to be more rigorous and institutional. That's true. But it still comes down to communication, emotional intelligence, the interactivity with the family office and the family. Everyone, I'm Angelo Robles at Family Office Association.